Hey, what's up everybody? This is RBT coming at you with my college football week 11 recap video. Sorry I didn't get to this last night. I was just extremely tired, exhausted, and mad from the Alabama loss. But it is what it is, and I'm going to go ahead and do it now. And on to my Titans recap video. I just got done playing football for like 3 hours straight. I'm really exhausted, so yeah. Ball State beat Toledo 34-27. This was a huge upset. Didn't see this one coming. Toledo was ranked 25. They had a really good offense, but Ball State put an end to their run, and they're out of the top 25 now. And Ball State wins 34-27. Thursday night, Arkansas State beat Louisiana-Monroe 45-23. But main part, Colton Browning I think still hurt, so that shows you how great their offense is without Colton Browning. I'm pretty sure he was out. Yep, the shorter guy had to start. Florida State beat Virginia Tech 28-22. Virginia Tech did come back in this game, and they played very, very tough, but at the end they couldn't. They tried to go on a last game-winning drive, and Logan Thomas couldn't get it done. He threw an interception, and that pretty much put an end to it. Florida State. One loss in the ACC, probably going to make it to the ACC title game. So congrats to Florida State. Friday night, Connecticut beats Pittsburgh 24-17. Pittsburgh was coming off that short week. Played Notre Dame really tough the week before. Had a comeback here. Scored 17 points unanswered in the second half, but it wasn't enough to beat Connecticut. Saturday, Wisconsin beats Indiana 62-14. Indiana would still have been in the hunt for the Big Ten championship game, and with a loss, Wisconsin would have been in jeopardy for the game. With a win, they clinched it, and they clinched it. Monty Ball and James White ran all over Indiana. Indiana, the worst Big Ten rush defense, and Wisconsin definitely exposed that. I think both running backs had over 150 yards. Could be wrong, but they both had big games, and Wisconsin wins 62-14. Michigan comes back and beats Northwestern 38-31 in overtime. Michigan had to force a turnover in overtime to win this game. Devin Gardner had a pretty good game, stepping in for Denard Robinson, who was out the second week in a row. And Michigan improves to 7-3, 5-1 in the Big Ten. Rutgers struggled with Army until the fourth quarter and scored 21 points. It was 7-7 going to the fourth quarter, but Rutgers wins 28-7. Louisville gets handed their first loss of the season against Syracuse. Pretty much was just demolishing this game from the start, 45-26. Turnovers really screwed over Louisville, and their streak had to come to an end sooner or later because they were playing teams close every game, and they're coming out lucky, and they're exposed by Syracuse. Syracuse, they can have a potent offense. Ryan Nassib is one of the most underrated quarterbacks in the country as a whole, and he definitely had a big game and gave Louisville their first loss. Cincinnati beats Temple 34-10, no problem for Cincinnati. Improved to 3-1 in Big East play. Iowa didn't really give Texas much of a test. I thought Iowa State was going to upset Texas in this game, but Texas wins 33-7. David Ash, 2 touchdowns in this win. He definitely is improving. Texas has improved really since that loss against Oklahoma, and they're looking quite well. I think they're going to give Kansas State a run for their money. Virginia holds off to beat Miami 41-40. Both teams they scored a combined 38 points in the first quarter, and Virginia did have to come back in this game, but they gave Miami their 5th loss of the season. Miami's now 4-3 in ACC play. It's going to really come down to that last game against Duke to see who goes to the ACC title game, and it'll be fun to watch. But controversial calls by the officiating crew late kind of put this game up in the air, but Virginia holds off to win 41-40. Purdue gets their first Big Ten win over Iowa, 27-24. They snap a 5-game losing streak and are now 4-6 and beat Iowa 27-24. South Carolina overcomes the Marcus Lattimore injury and beats Arkansas 38-20. Connor Shaw had a big game and they win. Texas Tech has to hold off to beat a feisty Kansas team and wins 41-34. This game actually had to go into overtime, and Kansas played them tough. This would have been Kansas' first Big 12 game since it might have been 2010, the last Big 12 win. Could be wrong on that, but it's been a while. Definitely Kansas fans were hoping more than one win this season, but this looks like what they're going to get. But they played a great game against Texas Tech. Tommy Tuberville even had to resort to snatching headphones off graduate assistant's head. If you didn't see that, go YouTube it. Just type in like Tommy Tuberville slaps coach or something like that. It should come up. It's pretty funny. He was really mad, and they're trying to go for a 4th and 1, and it was a false start or a legal procedure, a legal formation, something of that sort. That was a penalty that knocked him back 5 yards, and he just went insane, and he went up to that graduate assistant and just snatched his headphones off. It was hilarious, but anyways, they win 41-34 in double overtime. Florida holds off to beat Louisiana-Lafayette 27-20. This would have been probably the biggest upset in football all season, but Florida has to rally in the 4th quarter. Got very, very lucky. This game looked like it was going into overtime. Will Muschamp calls a timeout with like 12 seconds left, and Florida blocks the punt, brings it back for a touchdown, and wins the game. Crazy finish, and you take a win and you roll with it. And Missouri comes back to beat Tennessee 51-48, and I think it was 4 overtime. Derek Dooley, this is probably the game that puts him over the edge, still winless in the SEC play, and this game probably is going to be the end of Derek Dooley's career. This is probably what set everybody over the edge. Georgia Tech hangs 68 points on North Carolina to beat them 68-50. It's kind of ridiculous how Georgia Tech has a chance to make it to the ACC title game when they lost to Mid-Tennessee State by like 20-something points. That's ridiculous. That shows you how weak the ACC is. And heck, you can't say anything other than 68 points against North Carolina. But Georgia Tech does win 68-50, and I think they're now tied for the lead in their division in the ACC. So that's that. Arizona beats Colorado 56-31. This is expected. Didn't really think Colorado was going to score 31 points, but they did. Massachusetts does get the first ever win as an FBS team over Akron 22-14. These teams coming into this game were combined 1-19 or 1-18. So yeah, that's 2 of the worst teams in football going at it. Stanford holds on and beats Oregon State 27-23. Had to come back at the end in the 4th quarter to score 6 points and win this game. The new quarterback Hogan came in for Josh Nunez, who's been struggling, and he played a pretty good game. So I think these 2 teams both play Oregon in the next few weeks, and I think one of them might upset them. It'll be a tough stretch for Oregon. It'll be fun to watch. And USC beats Arizona State 38-17. Marquise Lee's having a Heisman-type year. Had another Heisman-type game, over 100-something receiving yards. He had over 100 receiving yards in the 1st quarter. The guy's an absolute stud, a top 10 pick if he could go to the NFL draft. So USC now 7-3. I think will still be Oregon's biggest task the rest of the season. North Carolina State bounces back after that disappointing, embarrassing loss of Virginia last week and beats Wake Forest 37-6. Nebraska holds on with a strong 4th quarter to beat Penn State 32-23. Scored 12 points in the 4th quarter. Controversial call on a Penn State. Should have been a touchdown. Would have gave Penn State the lead, I think, at the time. Guy crosses the goal line. He gets the ball knocked out, and I thought he was over the goal line before he got hit and fumbled the ball. But the refs obviously thought otherwise, and they called it a fumble. So it is what it is. Some people think Penn State just got that because they deserved it. You can't really say that, but I can see where some people come from when they say that. It shouldn't be the case though, but it is what it is. Oklahoma State outscores West Virginia 55-34. I knew it would come down to something like this. Wes Chelf had 4 touchdown passes. Or crap, I don't even know his first name. I know there's Wes Lunt and the Chelf guy. I think Wes Lunt was hurt. I could be wrong, but West Virginia definitely struggling. We're definitely the biggest pretender of the year early on, and their defense just can't get it done right now. They're not going to be able to compete until they have a defense that's somewhat good. And Oklahoma State wins 55-34. Oklahoma holds on to beat Baylor, who gave them a tough test. They win 42-34. Landry Jones 2 touchdowns in this game. I'm sure big old guy had a few rushing touchdowns on the goal line. But Oklahoma wins 42-34. I'm not sure. I might be wrong. Blake Bell, I'm not sure if he really had any touchdowns. He probably did, but anyways, Oklahoma wins 42-34. Clemson beats Maryland with their linebacker at quarterback. 45-10, wasn't a surprise here. Oh goodness, the Alabama game. Alabama loses 24-29. Texas A&M. Too many mistakes. Johnny Manziel, huge first quarter. Our defense couldn't get off the field in the first quarter. Offense couldn't convert until later on in the game. Too many missed opportunities. See what happens when AJ throws 2 interceptions. We lose. And it was just sickening that the game has to come down to. I was excited to watch the last 30 seconds of the game, even if we would have lost. But it comes down to a guy jumping off sides. That made. I'm done. Not talking about that. Minnesota wins over Illinois, wins 17-3. Minnesota's now bowl eligible, so congratulations to the Golden Gophers. Georgia shuts out Auburn 38-10. 38-0. Georgia did clinch the East in this game, so congrats to Georgia. LSU kind of struggles with Mississippi State. They win 37-17. This game was close, but LSU rides a big second quarter when they scored 17 points. Zach Mettenberger is definitely improving. He's played quite well in these last 2 games against pretty good opponents in Mississippi State and Alabama. And yeah, LSU wins 37-17. Vanderbilt squeaks out a victory against Ole Miss 27-26. Had to come back in the second half, scored 21 points, and they win. They're now bowl eligible for the second straight year under head coach James Franklin. So congrats to Vanderbilt. And Ole Miss is still looking for that 6th win in the season to be bowl eligible as well. So congrats to the Commodores. It's been a while since they've been bowl eligible for 2 straight years. Louisiana Tech, who is like 19 in the country now, did struggle, scored 62 points, but gave up 55 to Texas State, who's the first year as an FBS team. But anyways, Louisiana Tech wins 62-55, improved to 9-1. Kansas State beats TCU 23-10. They are now number 2 in the country. Well, they were number 2. I think Oregon jumped them. I don't necessarily know why, but they did. And kind of ugly game, but they win to keep on rolling. Notre Dame also in another ugly game beats Boston College 21-6. Improved to 10-0. So Notre Dame is hoping for an Oregon or Kansas State loss to have a chance in the title game. I'm hoping for a Notre Dame and Kansas State and Oregon loss, so Alabama can make the title game, but we'll just have to see. Oregon did struggle with Cal early on. It was a close game in the first half, but then fourth quarter they pull away. They did have a few injuries in this game. The starting safety was hurt. Kenyon Barner was hurt at one time, and Marcus Mariota was hurt at one time. So that was probably why they really struggled. But I thought personally that they were going to struggle at Cal, because teams always struggle at Cal. I don't know why. And if you watch my preview video, I did say that. But anyways, Cal loses to Oregon 51-17. Hurry up before my dog goes crazy. Utah loses to Washington 34-15, and Washington State loses to UCLA. Gave them a tough game, but UCLA wins 44-36. Shut up! Goodness, I'm ending this here. Thank you guys for watching. Be sure to subscribe, and as always, roll Tide, go Sox, and go Titans to you. Have a great day.